Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei and Rias died fighting Trihexa and went back in time part 4. Before we start, please go support Nico FS 2000 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. S2 Chapter 9. Serapho Leviathan. Underworld Phoenix Mansion. We see the Phoenix matriarchs gathered in the mansion room with Razor and his entourage, talking about topics about the underworld, when Issei's magic circle appears in the room, capturing everyone's attention, from which he and Ravel emerge. "Hello my girl," the Phoenix matriarch greeted, while Issei left him on the couch next to Razor. "Hello, how have you been?" Issei said, greeting everyone. "Good, and you?" said the Phoenix patriarch. "Very well, father, mother," Ravel said, returning both of their greetings. "We're happy," the two said in unison. "Hi to Issei, I imagine you have taken good care of my sister, right?" Razor asked, looking at the brunette with a sharp look. "Of course Yakitori, who do you take me for?" Issei said seriously, looking back at the Phoenix. "You better," said the blonde seriously. "By the way, daughter, I'm curious about the way you arrived, is something wrong with you?" The Phoenix matriarch asked with an amused smile, to which the blonde blushed. "No, it's nothing, Oka-san," Ravel said, blushing and nervous. "Wow," said the Phoenix patriarch, grasping the situation. "Maybe you," Razor said, looking at Issei jealously for his little sister. "Shut up Onisama, you have no right to say anything. If it weren't for Is, you would still be that arrogant killjoy," Ravel said, silencing his brother, to which he didn't say anything. "Well, if you'll excuse me, I have to go see Serapho," said the brunette, about to create a magic circle. "Let it be brief," said the Phoenix, looking at him sternly. "Depending on how long the meeting about Kakabiel takes," the brunette said with a smile. "Don't come at me with those hi-do Issei," Ravel shouted at the brunette, surprising those present a little. "Both you and I know why I call you Serapho-sama," the blonde ended by saying. "Now, don't be angry," said the brunette, a little intimidated by the way. "Do you want me to look for you when I'm done?" the chestnut asked him. "If you're not too late for your meeting, yes, if we don't see you at home," Ravel replied. "Well, don't be jealous," said the honey-eyed boy, disappearing in a magic circle. "I'm not jealous," she shouted, annoyed, to the amusement of her parents and Razor's entourage, who had missed her for a long time and had not seen her for a long time, and Razor just stayed silent, watching where the brunette went. My daughter is growing up," said her mother, amused. "It seems like that, honey," said his father, playing along with his wife. "Don't bother me anymore," Ravel said with slight anger. "It seems to bother you a lot that Issei-sama is going to see Serapho-sama, Ravel-sama." Yubalana said, ask her former entourage partner. "Not that, Yubalana, it just bothers me that Serapho uses her title as Mau to take advantage of the situation," Ravel explained to her brother's queen. "What do you mean, Ravel?" his brother asked the blonde. "You see Oni-sama, Serapho-sama is one of Is's girlfriends," said Ravel, leaving a silence in the room that by the time everyone came out of the shock they could only say, "We," everyone said, surprised. "How is it possible that that damn man has the Mau Leviathan among his wives?" said Razor with envy for the chestnut. "I don't even know Oni-sama, it just happened," the blonde explained. "Well, changing the subject, do you want to eat something, daughter?" asked the matriarch of the clan to her fourth daughter. "I would love to, Oka-san, I also want you to tell me how you have been," Ravel responded to her mother. "Alright, I'll be right back," said the Phoenix, going to the kitchen. And so they spent a few hours chatting, telling each other things about their lives, and eating what the maids prepared. Meanwhile, Grigori. We see a certain black-haired cadre reviewing information that was given to her about a certain chestnut. This was a beautiful black-haired woman with a beautiful body. The same was Penemue, who was lost in her thoughts while she read Issei's information. "Wow, you are interesting, Sekirute," said the cadre while reading the information. "You are strong, protective, as well as handsome." Yufufu Penemue said to herself. "On the other hand, I see that he has many women by his side." Ria's Gremory was his first girlfriend, followed by Barakiel's daughter. When she finds out, she will want to kill him, although I don't think she will succeed, hahaha. Then they add the Gremory entourage, the daughter of the Phoenix, the Pendragon heiress, even Rainer. "I guess I will have to reward him for having saved my apprentice from the hands of that damn Kakabiel Yufufu. Plus he protects them and loves them with his life, is an interesting prospect. I wonder what he will be like in bed," said La Follin with lust in the last sentence. "I see that you are entertained," said a voice, which scared and made the cadre nervous, taking her out of her thoughts. "I don't know what you're talking about, Azazel," said Penemue, while she put away the files, nervous about being discovered. "Ahahaha, I see that you were interested in Issei," said the colored-haired man, amused by what he discovered. "HMP, that's not your concern," said the black-haired woman seriously. "If you want, I'll introduce him to you. If you're lucky, he'll reciprocate your feelings," Azazel said mockingly, making Penemue blush. "What are you talking about? I don't feel anything for him," Lawful and blushing shouted at Azazel. "Ahahaha, then why are you blushing and looking for information about him?" asked the fallen man, amused by the beautiful woman's reaction. That's none of your business, you damn lazy crow. Besides, what do you care if I'm interested in a man? All you do is be locked up in your filthy laboratory, and you don't even realize what's going on around you, Penemue shouted at her, angry and indignant, since she was in love with him. For a long time and I never paid attention to him. Now, don't be angry, Azazel said, trying to calm her down. So shouldn't I introduce him to you? Grigori's leader asked again with a smile. Go away, Azazel, said the mother, angry and blushing. Okay, I'm leaving, said Azazel with a smile as he left. Wow, Issei, I'm surprised by what you generate in women, even without knowing them, hahaha, the fallen man thought as he left the place. Damn crow, who does he think he is? Penemue said angrily, although I wouldn't mind giving myself to Issei, touching and caressing her body. Will we join together, Yufufufu, the cadre thought with desire, while she blushed slightly. Underworld Castle Leviathan. We see Issei appearing outside the castle. When he leaves the magic circle, he calmly approaches him. When he reaches the door he sees 2 guards. Who are you? And what do you want here? Said one of the guards when he saw the brunette. I am Haidu Issei, current Secretary, and I am here at the request of Serafal-sama, the brunette answered the man. Ah yes, the Secretary, Leviathan-sama told us that he would come, said the other guard. Come in, Leviathan-sama is waiting for you in his office, said the man, opening the doors of the castle and indicating for Issei to come in. Thank you very much, said the brunette as he entered the place. As he passed he was pleasantly surprised by the infrastructure of the castle. He was in a large room, in which the floor was a violet carpet, a set of black armchairs next to a coffee table to her left, a bunch of maids in a row to her right. The walls were white, while there were columns of the same color delimiting parts of the room on both sides. The same columns delimited a kind of corridor wherein in the center there were something similar to artificial fountains and sculptures made of ice. The brunette walked until he reached the end of the room. Well, he was delighted with the construction. When he reached the end of the room there was a hallway that led to the rest of the mansion, and one of the maids approached him. You're Haidu Issei-sama? The maid asked, looking analytically at the honey-eyed. That's right, but just call me Issei, said the brunette with a typical smile of his. It's okay, Issei, follow me, Serafal-sama is waiting for you in his office. Okay, said Issei, following the maid down the hallway. What's your name? Issei asked the maid. Oh, excuse me, Issei-sama, my name is Kiara, said the one now identified as Kiara, who was a beautiful girl who looked Issei's age, orange hair short to her neck, red eyes, a voluptuous body, which had nothing but to envy of the strongest queen in her maid outfit. Nice to meet you, Kiara, I hope we get along well, Issei said with a smile. I wish that too, Issei-sama, said the red-eyed girl. Come on, don't put the sama on me, or maybe I look very old, said the brunette, bringing her face in front of her closer to hers, which was looking at him. Not at all, Issei, in fact you are very handsome, said the maid, turning away, blushing at the boy's closeness. Thank you, you are beautiful, worthy of a goddess, said the brunette, walking away from the girl. Thank you, although I think it's not that big of a deal, Kiara said, blushing. Of course it is, said the brunette. After that talk, they continued walking for a few minutes until they ended up turning right, arriving at a door. This is Issei, said the orange-haired girl. Thank you, said the brunette. Hey, you can stay here, I would like to have a few words with you later, Issei asked the maid. Of course, she said, she is a little surprised by the request. Hey, can you come in and stop flirting, the dragon reprimanded him. I don't know what you're talking about, Issei said, and then knocked on the door. Come in, said Serafal's voice, to which the brunette just opened the door and passed through. Inside the office, Issei walked in and closed the door. Is-chan, said the Mayu, rushing towards the brunette, giving him a big hug. Hello Sera-chan, how have you been? The brunette asked with his typical smile. Very good, but it's time to pamper myself, Issei-chan. Well, the black-haired girl jumps on Issei, and the brunette lifts her up while she is giving him a kiss full of love. Whatever you want, my little Mayu, said the brunette, returning the kiss and stroking her hair and pigtails. But first I need to ask you something, said Issei, separating from the kiss. And what do you want to ask me, Is-chan? Asked the black-haired girl with pigtails. You see, when I entered the castle, a maid accompanied me here. Her name was Kiara, the brunette explained to the Mayu. And what with her? Serafal asked, doubtful and intrigued. I happen to feel a potential power in her. With enough training I could be an ally of hers, said Issei, to which the black-haired girl with pigtails sighs. You see, Is-chan, this is Kiara Ligos, she is the last survivor of that demonic clan. I found her a few years ago. She was alone adrift in the clan's territory. When I saw her I was very sad, since at that time she was alone, a girl, and that's why I decided to give her a roof and a home. I brought her here to the castle, and she decided to return the favor, working for me as one of my maids. Despite the potential she had, when I mentioned the subject to her, she just avoided it, and he told me that it didn't matter, that his duty was to serve me and nothing more, Serafal explained with a little sadness. I see, the Iligos family belonged to the 72 pillars, right? The brunette asked seriously. That's Is-chan, the family you choose, worked for their earth and fire type magic, where they were specialists in those elements, in addition to having a large magical reserve and their demonic power, which made them a powerful family. It was based on the combination of these elements, just as the Baal have the power of destruction, the Citri the manipulation of water. They can manipulate lava, the Mayu explained to the brunette, who was a little surprised. Wait, she can manipulate lava? That girl has a greater potential than she expected, and it is not taken advantage of, Issei said with slight indignation. I already know Is-chan, but she is not interested in developing it, Serafal said sadly. Perhaps with enough motivation she can be a powerful demon in the future, said the brunette thoughtfully. Comrade, what do you think? Issei asked Drake. She would be a good addition for the future, she has potential, if she is trained properly, she can have a power equivalent to a super demon, said the dragon, giving his opinion to the brunette. She would be a good servant, said Issei. If you manage to convince her so that she is one of your servants, she would be something very good in the future, Drake said to the brunette. Without a doubt, answered the chestnut. Issei-chan. Is-chan. Serafal calls the honey-eyed, who was motionless a few seconds ago. Oh, what's going on? Will it be Chan? Issei asked, looking at the Mayu. What happened to you? You remained motionless for a moment, the black-haired woman asked worriedly. Nothing, I was just talking to Drake, the brunette said with a smile. Can you know what? Serafal asked curiously. Sera-chan, I have a request for you, the brunette asked the Mayu with pigtails. What do you need, Is-chan? I asked Serafal, would it be? I want you to let me take Kiara to the human world and for her to be one of the Sekyute's servants, the brunette asked Serafal, who was a little surprised by the request. Well, if you can convince her, I have no problem, the black-haired woman responded to the brunette. By the way, I recommend that you give her the quality of a tower, since if she trains her physique well, she can have monster strength, Serafal explained to the brunette. Who agreed. Well, it will be Chan, I think it's time to reward you for the information you gave me, said the brunette with a smile, getting up from the chair and surrounding the desk. That's what I've been waiting for, said the Mayu with a lustful smile, as she watched how the brunette walked around the desk and stood behind her, giving her a passionate kiss, to which the black-haired girl stood up and finished turning her body, wrapping her arms around the chestnut's neck, while from her jump she wrapped her legs around his waist. Is-chan, let's go to my room, said Serafal, separating from the kiss. As you wish, my demon queen, she said, smiling, to which she imitated him and kissed him again, while a magic circle appeared, transporting them to her room. Serafal's room. The brunette only goes to the bed and lays Serafal down, continuing with their passionate kiss. A few seconds passed and they began to take off their clothes until the brunette was left without his upper slopes, where the Mayu began to caress his chest delicately without separating from the kiss, and the brunette left her in her underwear, beginning to kiss her entire body, starting with the neck, making the Mayu sigh slightly with pleasure. Lemon skipped, please read it on website. Ah, it'll be Chan, it's great, everything I'm feeling right now is very pleasant, the brunette thought, lost in pleasure. S2 Chapter 10. Arena Shidu. Meanwhile, Haidu Mansion. We see the brunette and the blonde appear in the room where all the girls were. Hello everyone, the brunette said, greeting, while Ravel just said hello and went to sit next to LeFay. Hello Is-senpai-san, they all said. What are you doing here? You creepy cat, the phoenix attacked Kaneko, who was in the house. What do you care, burnt bird? The Nekomata responded to the insult. As you told me, damn cat, Ravel said furiously. What did you hear, fried chicken, Kaneko replied with mockery. Do you want to fight? Ravel said, standing up before everyone's amused look. Ravel, a face stopped her. Kaneko-chan is here because now this is where he lives, said the magician, leaving Ravel surprised and making Issei smile. So now you live with us, said Issei approaching Kaneko. That's Is-senpai, answered the albino. I hope you feel comfortable living here, the brunette said, smiling and stroking his head. Yes, and thank you, Is-senpai, said the Nekomata, hugging him. Hey, let him go, said the phoenix, taking Issei out of Kaneko's grip and hugging him. What's wrong with you, bird? The Nekomata said angrily. Ara, Ravel is jealous, she said amusingly, making the others laugh. I'm not, said the blonde, a little embarrassed and sitting down next to LeFay again. Is this always like this? Irina asked Asia, who was next to her. Sometimes, although the rivalry between Ravel-san and Kaneko-chan is due to their nature, but they are very good friends, the former nun explained to the orange-haired girl, who only nodded. Hi, do you say I call the chestnut tree Zenobia? What's going on? Asked the honey-eyed. I just wanted to thank you for letting us stay here, said the blue-haired girl, thanking the brunette. It's nothing, Zenobia, and just call me Issei, the boy said with a smile. It's okay, Issei, the exorcist said, returning the smile. Issei-kun, how was the meeting? Rainer asked, looking at him with a sweet smile. Well, Ray-chan, he said, giving the fallen girl a smile, who blushed. Rias, I have to talk to you, Issei said to the redhead, becoming serious, which everyone noticed. Yes, what do you need? The blue-eye asked, intrigued. In my room, in private, said the brunette, going to the room. Okay, said Rias, following him. What do you want to tell him? LeFay asked, intrigued. I don't know, Ravel answered. It must be something serious, from the way Iskon acted, said Raynor. If Yufu and if we find out, Akeno said with a smile, to which everyone nodded and went up to Issei's room. Issei's room, we see Issei and Rias enter. As the chestnut tree passes, he puts up a barrier of silence. Why the barrier of silence, Is? Asked a curious Redeed. Knowing the girls, they will want to listen to our conversation, and it is not the time for them to know, the brunette replied. It makes sense, said the blue-eyed girl, while Issei leaned back on the bed frame. Come here, said the brunette as he settled down. Rias just smiled and sat down and adjusted her back and head, leaning on the brunette's chest, while they both stretched their legs. I missed a moment of peace with you, Rias, the brunette said, kissing her head and hugging her by the neck, while his arms ran around her body. Me too, even if you're a clone, said the Redeed, snuggling closer to him. How do you know? The honey-eyed man asked, intrigued. Do not compare me with the others, I was and am your first woman. It is normal that I have realized this, since I got used to it and completely controlled my dragon part. Besides that, I do not feel Drake's presence with you, Rias explained while closing the doors. Eyes enjoying your closeness. I see, said the chestnut. And what did you want to talk about? Asked the Redeed. Meanwhile, out of the room. And do you hear something? Raynor asked the girls, who, like her, were stuck to the door. No, Kaneko simply said. Me neither, Ravel said, a little frustrated. How bad is this going? Said Irinia. They put up a barrier of silence, Akeno said it would be. Intelligent, said LeFay Serra. Let's leave them, he said to the others. Yes, they beat us, they knew this was going to happen, said Zenobia. Okay, let's go down, Akeno said, while she went down the stairs and the others followed her resignedly, since their curiosity was killing them. Back in the room. Yes, it's about a maid that I met in Castle Leviathan, the brunette explained, to which Rias nodded for him to continue. Then the brunette proceeded to tell her everything that Sirafal told him about Kiara Ligos, her power and what she did. Planned to do, leaving the Redeed surprised, since that family had become extinct in the war. Wow, I didn't expect that, said the Redeed, coming out of surprise. And how do you plan to convince her? The blue eye asked with intrigue. I don't know yet, but surely the original has already thought of something, said the brunette, while stroking the crimson hair that he liked so much, something that Rias loved. Hey, did Zenobia talk to you about joining the entourage? Asked the intrigued honey-eyed. Not yet, but I'm sure she won't be long, or maybe she will do it after we defeat Kakabiel, the Redeed explained. Issei just nodded. And what will happen to Irinia? Do you plan to mark her? Rias asked with a bit of seriousness. I guess I'll do it later. I'm worried that Kakabiel will do something to him. You know that last time he almost died after losing Mimic, and I don't want that to happen again. With my mark at least I'll be calmer, the brunette explained. She is fine, but she remembers that she is still human, and I must be the first to give you a child. You understood my Is, said the Redeed, giving the honey-eyed boy a kiss, which he reciprocated. The possessive Rias is back, the brunette said with amusement. Also don't tempt luck, remember that now you are half dragon, and your fertility rate is higher, Issei finished saying, to which the blue-eyed girl blushed heavily. Well no, it wouldn't be something that I dislike, she said happily, kissing the brunette again. Also, don't worry about Irina, these days I will take her to Michael, so that he can reincarnate her as an angel. Apart from having declared herself to me, I am not going to let her return to the Vatican, she will stay here, Issei said determinedly. I'm glad, little by little we are meeting again, said the Redeed with a smile. By the way, with the topic of Kiara Ligos, who will train her? Rias asked curiously. I don't know yet, answered the brunette. I can answer that. Drake spoke of Issei's left arm. How? A moment ago I didn't feel your presence in this, the Redeed asked, surprised. Don't underestimate me, I can transfer my consciousness to any of Issei's clones, in case they need help, Drake explained. Plus we are looking for a way for the clones to use the balance breaker in a synchronized way, he finished explaining the dragon. You mean how did Euclid Lucifuge create the army of copies of the Securiute armor, but with Issei clones? Rias asked, trying to understand what Drake said. Well, I would be surprised if one day Grimory could be like this. Surprised by the Redeed's reasoning. Great, said Rias with emotion, but why would you be surprised? The curious blue-eyed girl asked. You see, my Rias, the armors were being created en masse, and I don't think I would have the magical reserve to create so many clones and synchronize them at the same time, the brunette explained to the Redeed. I understand, Rias responded, understanding what the brunette said. Well, continuing with the previous topic, what were you saying, mate? Said the chestnut so that the dragon could explain himself. Tiamat could take care of general training, especially her physical training, while LeFay could help her with the training regimen she gives her regarding magic, and Uria's the same, but with respect to demonic power, Drake explained to the couple. Good idea, said the brunette, already decided. I don't have a problem, the Redeed said with a smile. And just in case, I will also ask him to help you and LeFay with the physical training. I think they are leaving it aside a little, Drake said seriously. I'm not leaving it aside, but it's okay, said the blue-eyed girl in the same way as Drake. After the talk they spent a few more minutes hugging, and then the brunette decided to go take a bath, to which the Redeed returned with the girls to wait for him. Underworld Leviathan Castle Seraphol's room. Lemon skipped please read it on website. And so they spent a few more hours where Issei continued to give pleasure to the black-haired woman until they were exhausted and fell asleep and embraced with a smile, while the clones disappeared and the mark of the red dragon appeared on Seraphol's right arm. Meanwhile Haidu mansion bathroom, we see the clone of the chestnut tree in which he was in the bathtub relaxing and thinking. It seems that the original is over, she thought as she also received the memories of the other two clones, but he was taken out of her thoughts when she felt two pairs of breasts on her back. These breasts, Irina thought the brunette. What are you thinking, darling? Said the orange-haired woman as she hugged him from behind. Irina, what are you doing here? Said the brown-eyed man, adjusting himself to look at her head-on. Lemon skipped please read it on website. Meanwhile mansion room. Hey, do you know where Irina is? Zenobia asked while she was playing cards with the rest of the girls. I don't know, we haven't seen her since, Rainer said, but she couldn't finish, realizing something, which made her jealous. Since? Asked Ravel. Since Ria said that Is went to bathe, Rainer shouted, making everyone react. Oh no, it's not fair, he said like this. I won't allow it, Ravel said, getting up, since she and Rainer were very jealous, and it's good because she is the only one who has not yet been marked. As for Rias, Akeno and Lefei, they were calm, since they know how much he loves them. Brown. If Yufu, Is-kun is having fun, said Akeno with his typical smile. I won't allow it, Rainer said, immediately going to the second floor, being followed by Ravel and Asia. Well, Kaneko didn't say anything, but a trace of anger could be seen on her face, and she slipped behind the three girls. I have to see it to believe it, said Zenobia following the women. This made Ria sigh. Wow, I thought that when Is marked them she would get rid of that girlish jealousy, but no, Lefei said, resigned, standing up. And you're not jealous? Akeno asked, amused. Not at all, like you two, I know perfectly well how much Is loves me, that's why I don't make a fuss, the magician responded with a smile. Ah, we better go, said Ria standing up, to which the two nodded and followed her. When the girls reached the bathroom door they realized that it was closed. Shit is closed, Rainer said frustrated. And they put up a barrier of silence, Ravel said with a frown. Ooh, the former nun pouted. I have to see it to believe it, said the determined blue-haired girl. Don't let the three of you be girls, if Is loves you, she bothers you, said Lefei, annoyed. Millimeters, you wouldn't understand, said the black-haired girl and the phoenix. He hasn't done anything to me yet, he said, pouting. Well, in the case of Asia it is understandable, said Rias. Ara, maybe you're unsure of what Is-kun feels about you too, Akeno said, looking at the fallen and demon. No, never, we know how much Is loves us, and how much we love him, the two said in unison, as if they had rehearsed it. Then stop behaving like girls, said Lefei, annoyed, to which the two lowered their heads. Not to get into it, but beyond that, aren't you curious? Zenobia asked, to which none of them could refuse, and they remained waiting there until Issei came out. Back in the bathroom, the brunette continued with his work on the breasts when he began to align his member with the orange-haired woman's intimacy, slowly introducing it, making Irina moan, until she reached a point at which she could not advance any further. Are you ready? The brunette asked, looking at her. Lemon skipped please read it on website. I propose something that will solve your dilemma, said the brunette with a smile. What darling thing? I asked, intrigued and anxious. I propose that you join the servants of the Securitate, besides the fact that you now belong to me, you know that, right? And on the other hand, if you want, tomorrow I'll talk to Gabriel to talk to Michael and reincarnate your human part into an angel, said the honey-eyed man with her smile. Irina was surprised by the idea that her chestnut had. Is-kun, would you do that for me? The orange-haired girl asked with a smile and teary eyes. Of course yes, little angel, the brunette said with amusement while smiling. Upon hearing this, some tears began to come out of the violet-eyed girl's eyes, and she grabbed Issei to give the brunette a tender kiss that lasted a few seconds. Darling, what do you mean by my human part? If I am 100% human, the orange-haired girl asked with doubt. That's because by doing what we did I marked you as mine, said the brunette with a smile. Do you mean the Securitate mark? Irina asked. Yes, I suppose you know what it is for and what it means or not, said the brunette looking at her, to which the girl only nodded. Well, that mark emits part of my power and that of Drag, and that slowly transforms you into a dragon until it reaches 50%, perhaps you want it to predominate. That will happen as your body gets used to its aura and power, and that means that you will have to train to be able to control it, the brunette explained. I see, darling, it's interesting, Irina said with a smile. Well, Irina, what do you think if we get out of the bathroom, said the brunette looking at her. It's okay, said the violet-eyed girl, and then they both got up and then put on a robe each. When they were about to leave, the honey-eyed boy lifted the violet-eyed girl in a bridal manner and gave her a tender kiss, leaving the place. As they did so, they met the girl. Look from all the girls, some were jealous, others saw him with funny smiles or sighing, and finally Zenobia was incredulous. What are you all doing here? The brunette asked doubtfully, seeing all the girls. HMP, they're probably jealous and came here to try to prevent us from being together, but I went ahead and locked the door, Irina said with a mocking smile, making certain jealous girls glare at her. Irina, did you really do that? Zenobia asked, looking at her seriously. Yes, now I'm a darling, she said with a smile all over her face, looking at the blue-haired girl, who just stayed silent. Tomorrow we will go to heaven, Ria said the chestnut tree. So I wanted to, well thanks for telling me, said the reed looking at him with a smile. Girls, I'm going to get dressed and do the ritual for Irina-chan, see you downstairs, the brunette said, smiling at the girls. That means that Irina Rainer said, surprised, like most. That's Ray-chan, the brunette answered, interrupting her. Welcome to the family, said LeFei, smiling and happy for her new groupmate. Thank you LeFei-chan, said the orange-haired girl, turning her head to see her. Well, let's go change, said the chestnut. Okay, the girl said so that Issei could then take Irina to her room, do the ritual and go to his room, and the girls would come down to wait for them. Then the two boys went down where they sat in the living room, while the food was there, which was going to happen in a few minutes. Issei, what were you referring to a while ago with ritual? Zenobia asked, looking at him intrigued. The ritual that the Sekiryuite carries out to obtain his servants at the point of view where we normally are, assistants or equipment, the brunette explained to the blue-haired girl, while he caressed Kaneko's head, who was sitting on her skirt. It must be said that Zenobia was surprised, and the other girls were happy to have a new groupmate, harem sister. That means that you Irina, the durandal wearer said in surprise. That's right, but are you going to leave the church? Zenobia asked incredulously. No, Zenobia, Is-kun will accompany me to heaven to see Michael-sama so that I can be reincarnated as an angel, the orange-haired girl said happily, shocking everyone. Whoa, everyone exclaimed in surprise. I congratulate you, Irina, it's a good way to not leave one of your two loves abandoned, the redeed said with a smile, looking at the violet-eyed girl, who returned it to her. What do you mean but you? I asked with doubt. You see Asia-chan, Irina has a very deep love for the church, but also having been granted this mission and having reunited with Issei, she lived her happiest days in this short time that she was in Kuo, that is why the doubt arose. If your love for the church. Or her love for Issei. Issei, knowing this, came up with this idea, explained the blue-eyed girl, to which everyone was left with their mouths open because of how well thought out the brown-haired girl had things. Rias, did you already know that? The orange-haired girl asked, surprised. Of course, there is nothing that Is and I don't tell each other, Ria said with a winning smile, igniting the jealousy of all the girls, who put on serious faces and began to see the two of them over and over again. The food is ready, said the chestnut tree's mother, breaking the silence that she generated, bringing the food to the table with the help of her husband. The dinner passed normally, while Issei's parents joked with Irina, leaving her very embarrassed to the amusement of everyone, who laughed at the insinuations of the chestnut's mother. This is normal, you will get used to it, Irina says the brunette, somewhat embarrassed. It's okay if you call it darling, said the orange-haired woman, still embarrassed. Don't worry Irina, we also went through the same thing, said Rias amused, to which the girls nodded. Irina, tomorrow when we return from heaven, you will also go to the academy with us, Issei said seriously. No, said Irina, pouting, while her eyes were watering, causing everyone to have a drop fall down the back of their necks. Come on, it's not that bad, besides, no pouting, you have to go. Tomorrow Rias will talk to Sona, the brunette said to the orange-haired girl, while the red-haired girl only nodded. What will you do, Zenobia? Now that you know what God is doing, what do you intend to do? The honey-eyed man asked the blue-haired girl, who became serious. The truth is, I have been meditating on it. This thing about God came to me like a bucket of cold water, and I also don't have an unbreakable faith like Irina. Yes, I am a believer, but knowing this, I was left without a reason to fight for, the blue-haired girl explained, while everyone was paying close attention to her. So Rias Gremory, I would like to apologize to you for what I caused, and if possible allow me to join your entourage, said Zenobia bowing towards the redeed. Everyone smiled at this, but the surprise was immediate. Is Zenobia serious? Will you join the demons? Irina said without believing it. And what do you want, Irina? The reason why she fought is no longer there, in fact she never was, said the Ojikov woman responding to her partner. I'm just surprised that at the first difficulty you leave the church, even if it is an acceptable reason, and we can also be together, Irina said with a smile. Thank you for understanding, Irina said the brunette smiling. What is your answer, Rias Gremory? Zenobia asked, looking at the blue eye. Okay, tomorrow before going to the academy I will reincarnate you, and you will go just like Irina, okay? Said Rias smiling. Well, now Ross is missing and we will all be together again, the redeed thought happily. I agree, said Zenobia. Well, we will have a new member for the family, said the chestnut tree's mother with a smile. After the talk, the meal was normal until it was time to go to sleep. I'll sleep with my darling, said the orange-haired woman as she headed at full speed to the brunette's room, something that didn't sit well with the others, and they ran after her, while Zenobia only saw this with amusement and went towards her room. Alright, it seems that tonight we will sleep a little uncomfortable, Akeno said with her typical smile. So it seems, Issei and Rias said with a drop of sweat, and then both One-Isamas grabbed one of the brunette's arms each and went up to her room to sleep. S2 Chapter 11. Irina's Ascension to Heaven. The next day Underworld Leviathan Castle Seraphol's room. We see the Mau with pigtails sleeping peacefully hugging the brunette who was slowly opening his eyes. As he does so he smiles radiantly and gives Seraphol a kiss on her head. What a night, said the brunette, smiling while he left the black-haired girl aside, got up and dressed. Well, let's make breakfast and then go home before everyone wakes up and exchange me with the clone. I wonder how it went. The brunette said in a low voice. Leaving the room, he walked for a few seconds until he reached the room where he met Kiara just like the day before. Good morning Isama, said the orange-haired girl approaching him. Good morning Kiara, can you guide me to the kitchen please, the brunette asked, looking at the maid, who nodded, indicating that she should follow him. Why does she want to go to the kitchen? The red-eye asked, intrigued. It's not obvious, I want to make breakfast for Seraphol, he said smiling as he walked next to the maid. But Issei-sama, that is the job of the maids, I can't let him do that, said the last Oligos would be. Let's go, it'll just be for today, I just want to do it, I know you'll enjoy it, said the brunette, while he looked at the demon with a pleading face. It's okay, Kiara said, sighing. I also want to talk to you and propose something to you, the honey-eyed man said seriously, which made the maid understand that it was something serious, and she just nodded. They continued walking for a few seconds until they reached the kitchen, where there were some maids. This is Issei-sama, Kiara said. Good morning, said the brunette looking at the maids who were in the place. Good morning Issei-sama, they said in unison. Very good Kiara, where are things? He asked while he watched her waiting for her to respond. Very good, what do you need? Kiara asked resignedly. I need fruits and rice, do you have here? Issei said, asking the last thing. Yes, we have it, Seraphol likes to eat those things, although he likes the human world in general, said the orange-haired girl, while she looked for what Issei asked for. But Issei-sama, let us make breakfast, it's our job, said one of the maids, drawing the brunette's attention. Don't worry, I want to do it, so rest. Yes, the brunette asked the maids. But, said the maid, but she was interrupted by Issei. Seriously, don't worry, go to the living room, if I need your help I'll call you, the brunette said with his smile. The maids just looked at him and nodded with a smile. I'll leave everything here for you, said the orange-haired woman, leaving the things she asked for on the kitchen counter. Oh, there are oranges, can you give me a juicer? Said the brunette as he approached where she was. Yes, I'll bring it to you, she said to go to a part of the kitchen, open a cupboard and take out the juicer, and then close it to approach Issei and give it to him. If you don't need me for anything else, I'll leave, said the red-eyed girl. Starting to withdraw. Wait, the brunette stopped her, to which the maid turns to look at him. You help me do it, Issei said with his characteristic smile. But you said you wanted to do it, why are you asking me for help? Kiara said surprised, asking the last thing. Because I want to be with you to talk about something, said the brunette smiling at him. It's okay, the red-eyed girl said a little blushing, going to grab the rice to help the chestnut. What do you want to do? The orange-haired girl asked, looking at him. Rice balls, I'll make a squeeze juice, said the brunette, to which the red-eyed girl nodded. Well, what did you want to talk about? The orange-haired girl asked as she began to do what the brunette told her. About your past, about who you are, said Issei, getting serious. You see, yesterday when we crossed paths you caused me a lot of curiosity, rather your hidden power, and that's why I asked Seraphol, and she told me who you were, said the honey-eyed boy while using the juicer. Who I am? She said, worried and sad. Yes, you are Kiara Ligos, the last survivor of that clan, and Seraphol found you and brought you with her to Castle Leviathan, said the brunette. I see, the orange-haired girl said sadly. Which led me to wonder something, the brunette continued, speaking to the maid. What thing? The orange-haired girl asked. You have great potential that you are not taking advantage of, and you know it. You have great demonic power, very large reserves of magic, as well as incredible resistance. Why didn't you accept the training that Seraphol wanted to give you at the time? He asked, intrigued by what I was going to answer. Because it doesn't make sense, you prefer to return the favor this way, said the maid dejectedly. Why not? The honey-eyed man asked, inquiring. Because I'm alone, I have nothing to protect, no reason to become strong, Kiara said, expelling her anguish from her as she began to cry, to which the brunette stopped what he was doing and hugged her. Surprising her. Calm down, Vent, but you're not alone, you have Seraphol, and now you have me, Issei said comfortingly, surprising the red-eyed girl even more, who clung to the brunette until she stopped crying, while receiving caresses in her hair from Issei. Thank you for containing me, Isama, Kiara said, separating from him while she looked at him with a smile. No problem, said the brunette, returning the smile. Well, I want to make you a proposal. What is Issei-sama? The orange-haired girl asked a little better. I want you to come with me to the human world and become one of the servants of the Securitate. I offer you a house, training and a family, which will gladly accept you. I invite you to fight for the reason of protecting us, Issei said with a smile, shocking the maid. Seriously, she said without believing it, completely happy, jumping at the chestnut tree so they fell to the ground. Of course the honey-eyed man responded, caressing his cheek. Thank you, the maid thanked as she buried Issei between her breasts. Hey Kiara, said Issei, who was slowly running out of air. I'm sorry, said the orange-haired girl, quickly separating herself from the boy, blushing. It doesn't matter, said the honey-eyed man, getting up and helping the girl stand up. But why is he doing this for my Issei-sama? Kiara asked a little embarrassed. Because if you develop that power well you will be a powerful ally, because I like to help people, and I also like you, the brunette explained, raising his thumb in the last sentence. I see, I appreciate it, Issei-sama, he is very kind, said the maid with a radiant smile. Besides, I couldn't let a girl as beautiful as you not be by my side, said the brunette with a chibi face, while he pointed his finger at her. Though the red-eyed girl was trying to speak, she was very blushing because of what the Securitate had said. Come on, don't be embarrassed, you better finish helping make breakfast, Issei said, returning to normal. It's okay, Issei-sama, said the orange-haired girl, going back to making the rice balls. Nothing about Sama, it's okay, he said, looking at her seriously. Just call me Issei, she said to smile, something that made the maid blush again. It's okay, Issei-kun, Kiara said, returning the smile, so that after a few minutes which passed in silence, they will finish the breakfast, which was for 2 people. Well, I'm going to bring breakfast to Serafal, said the brunette, putting the things on a tray. It's okay, Issei-kun, the maid responded. By the way, now I will talk to Serafal, so he goes and prepares your things. You are coming with me to the human world and put on comfortable clothes. I want a companion, not a maid, is that clear? Issei said, looking at her from top to bottom. Yes, Kiara said happily and quickly went up to prepare her things. Good, now let's have breakfast, said the honey-eyed man to get ready to go up to the Mau's room with breakfast. Serafal's room, we see the Mau who was slowly waking up. Ah, good morning Is-chan, the black-haired girl said sleepily. Is-chan, the Mau called him while she got up and looked at her and couldn't find him. Issei-chan, where are you? The Mau shouted, starting to get upset thinking that the boy had left her. Did you leave me? She said while she put her head between her legs. You miss me so much and you just woke up, said Issei, entering her room, looking at her with amusement. Is-chan, the black-haired girl, shouted happily for jumping at him, but she saw that she came with a tray. What is that? He asked with teary eyes. I made you breakfast, my pretty Mau, Issei said, smiling at her. Oh really? Serafal asked with a sparkle in her eyes. Of course, said Issei, approaching the bed and leaving the tray on it, sitting down while Serafal drank some juice. Although I must admit that Kiara helped me a little. Millimeters, it's delicious, said Serafal, leaving the glass and grabbing a bowl of rice. Were you able to talk to her? The Mau asked as she bit into the rice, starting to eat it. Yes, said the honey-eyed man, imitating the black-haired girl. And what did she tell you? Serafal asked curiously. I accept my proposal, now she is preparing her things to come with me to the human world, the brunette said, smiling while he drank some juice. Very good, but she is not the only one who will go with you to the human world, said the pigtailed Mau as she approached and gave Issei a sweet kiss, which he reciprocated. I will also go with you, the violet-eyed girl said smiling. Really? But don't you have to deal with the underworld? Issei asked between happy and worried. No, not today, I will take care of the move to my cute Is-chan's house, said the black-haired girl to give the brunette another kiss. It makes me happy, it will be Chan, Issei said to return the kiss, then let's have breakfast and leave. I have to change with the clone before everyone wakes up, the brunette finished, smiling nervously. Ahahaha, okay, Serafal said in the same way, so they continued having breakfast, talking about different things, then the black-haired girl dressed in her magical girl cosplay, and they headed to the living room. Are you seriously going to be dressed like that? Asked the brunette with a drop of sweat. Of course Is-chan, what don't you like? The Mau asked with a pout, something that Issei couldn't resist. Of course it will be Chan, you look beautiful in your magical girl outfit, the brunette said, making Serafal blush while he approached to kiss her. You know, you're the first one who likes this outfit. So you always repress me and we hardly ever see each other, said the black-haired girl, a little sad. Hey, the brunette said smiling at her, grabbing her cheeks. You have to like it, you have to feel comfortable, and you also look very hexy with that on, the brunette said, whispering the last thing in the Mau's ear, which he felt a little chill. Is-chan, she said with a smile and then kissed him passionately. You know one thing, it will be Chan, said the brunette, separating from the kiss. What is Chan? Asked the Mau looking at him. Don't pay attention to Sona, she will be very intelligent and everything, but that is turning her into a bitter old woman, the brunette replied a little mockingly. Hahaha, Is-chan, I guess you're right, the Mau laughed amused, although she said, changing to a more serious tone. What? He said a little nervously, remembering that she was very protective of Sona. Thank you, she said, caressing her Mau's cheek, which intrigued the brunette a little. Thank you for accepting me as I am, my personality. Thank you for loving me and allowing me to love you, the black-haired woman said to give the brunette another kiss. No problem, besides I would have to thank you for that, and I also love your personality, it's what I like most about you, Issei said smiling. Chan said the Mau to hug him tightly. I love you, she said, laying her head on his chest. Me too, he said in brown, gently stroking her pigtails. Well, we better continue on our way, Issei said to take Seraphol's head off his chest and look her in the eyes. I think it's fine, the black-haired woman responded, separating herself from him. By the way, won't you take your things? The honey-eyed man asked, looking at her, heading down her path again. No, I'll come for them later, he said, smiling at her. After a few minutes they arrived at the room and saw a splendid Kiara, who made Issei blush a little, since she was wearing a fitted shirt that showed off her blue attributes with white dots. A black skirt and shoes of the same color, while on her arm, she carried a jacket of the same color as the shirt. And how do I look? The maid asked, a little embarrassed. Beautiful, the honey-eyed boy said, stunned, making the orange-haired girl blush even more and making the violet-eyed girl look at him and pinch his cheek. Oh, it hurts, it must be Chan, Issei said while touching his cheek. HMP, you don't have to look so much, said the Mau looking at him seriously. By the way, you look very pretty, Kiara-chan, said the Mau giving a smile to the red eye. Thank you, she said, still blushing and a little surprised by what she had just witnessed. Well, if you're ready, we can go, right Is-chan? Said Seraphil with her typical mood. Yes, Kiara said, grabbing her suitcase, which was next to her and standing next to the Mau. Okay, let's go, she said in brown, a magic circle appearing and disappearing from the castle. Haidu Mansion. We see a magic circle appear in the living room of the house, where Issei, Seraphil and Kiara come out. Welcome home, Issei said with a smile. Wow, it seems that Surzich's-chan remodeled it. It turned out spectacular, said the Mau, appreciating the place. Wow, it's very big, said Kiara, amazed by the house. Well, I'll go take Kiara to her room, it'll be Chan, you're at home, the brunette said to the two girls, who nodded. Very good, said the Mau, sitting in one of the armchairs, turning on the television and watching, making the brunette smile. Well, Kiara, let's go to your room, said the brunette starting to walk. The orange-haired girl just nodded and followed him, heading towards the second floor, leaving the Aligo's heiress in one of the rooms, to which she entered and left her clothes. Things. Well, you're at home, do what you want, said the honey-eyed man as they left the room. Well, I'll go with Seraphil-sama, the orange-haired woman responded, retreating to the ground floor, to which the brunette went to his room. Issei's room. Oh, it can't be, the brunette thought, surprised when he entered his room and saw in his bed a river of women and in the middle of it, his clone sleeping peacefully. Ahahaha, it seems that Mr. Clone had even more fun than you, hahaha. Drake laughed from the booster gear. So it seems, replied the brunette while a smile appeared on his face. Did you realize, mate, said the dragon to the chestnut tree. Yes, Issei said simply. It seems that Mr. Clone, I mark your innocent childhood friend, hahaha, said the Welsh dragon funny. I'm curious, said the honey-eyed one, approaching the bed. Lefay, said the brunette in a low voice, seeing the magician sleeping on the clone's chest. Let's see if my instincts don't fail me, he whispered to himself. The brunette himself to uncover them all, and when he did so he saw Kaneko sleeping peacefully in the clone's lap. It seems that my pretty Nico recovered her territory, Issei thought with a smile. I don't know if the same thing happens to you, but I think it's fun to see your clone with no escape, Drake said mockingly, to which Issei only sighed and then delicately picked up Nekomata without waking her and placing her on the other side of the bed, and then proceeded to lift Lefay bridal style, to place a hand on the forehead of the clone, who disappeared, giving Issei all his memories. Then he returned to place the two girls in their respective places, covering them again and standing there for a few seconds thoughtful. Wow, who would have thought that Arena would have that attitude now, thought the brunette. Who knows, this time she didn't take it due to the influence of the other girls, plus you won't be able to enjoy it for a while, and your clone did it, Drake said, mocking a little at the last part. Shut up, Drake, don't make me think about that now. On top of that, this damn clone hasn't even spoken to Gabriel yet, the honey-eyed man said with annoyance. Come on, partner, at least she is already marked and therefore protected, said the dragon, encouraging his bear. I know, Drake, that leaves me calm, although there is still a long way to go, and I don't know how things will develop now that the two swords that Gabriel is looking for are being protected by us, as are their bearers, said the brunette worriedly. Come on, don't worry so much, or you think Kabil will blow himself up and attack the academy during class time, he said in dragon, reassuring his partner. You're right, the brunette answered, approaching Arena to wake her up, moving her a little until the orange-haired woman began to wake up. Ah, Iskun, good morning, said the orange-haired girl, smiling at him. Good morning, my beautiful angel, said the honey-eyed boy, giving him a tender kiss. What's going on? Arena asked, separating from the kiss. It's time to go to heaven, Issei said, smiling at him. "Oh right," the orange-haired woman answered to uncover herself. "Oh, how do I get out of here now?" said the violet-eyed girl, looking at Ravel on her right side and on her left side at Rainer, who is at the end of the bed, on the verge of falling. "Like this," Issei said, lifting Irina bridal style and leaving her on the ground. "Thank you, darling," said the orange-haired woman, going to look for her clothes to get dressed. The chestnut man heard a voice, and when he looked at the place where he came from he saw a sleepy Rias. "Hello, my Rias," said the brunette, going around the bed, since the Redeed was on the other end of the bed. "Good morning," said the brunette, reaching where the blue-eyed girl was, giving her a kiss, which the Redeed reciprocated. "I'll go to heaven," said the brunette, separating from the kiss. "Very good," she said, turning to one side, seeing LaFay next to her sleeping peacefully, next to her a keno and a bundle that was sticking out of the sheets. "Wow, Kaneko was left without your skirt," she said with a touch of amusement. "Redeed. Below are Kiara and Serafal," Issei whispered in Ria's ear. "I'll go keep you company," said the blue-eyed girl, getting up and looking for her clothes to get dressed. "I'm ready, darling," said Irina, already dressed. "Well, let's wait," Rias. Issei responds to the violet-eyed girl, going to her side. "Let's go," said Rias, taking one of the brunette's arms to go down. Irina, seeing this, imitates her by grabbing the other one, and then they leave the room, heading to the first floor of the house. When they go down, they attract the attention of Serafal and Kiara. "Hello, Rias-chan," the Mayu greeted with a smile, to which the Redeed returned at Irina-chan. "I see, like me you joined the family," the black-haired girl said, giving her a smile. "It seems like that," said the orange-haired girl happily, "but how do you know my name?" "As far as I remember, I never told Leviathan-sama," the violet-eyed girl asked, intrigued. "Ah, yesterday Issei told me, along with the information about what was happening with Kakabiel and other things," said the Mayu with a smile directed at the brunette, to which the future angel nodded. "You must be Kiara, right?" said the Redeed while she looked at her kindly. "Hey, who is she?" Irina asked, noticing the girl's presence. "Kiara, introduce yourself," Serafal said to the girl. "I'm Kiara Ligos, nice to meet you," said the red-eyed girl introducing herself. "The Ligos, where have I heard that last name?" she said with a finger on her chin thoughtfully, the orange-haired woman. "She is the last survivor of that clan of demons, which was extinct in the last war," Serafal explained, to which Irina sees the girl with the same hair color as hers a little sad. "It's a pleasure, I'm Irina Shidu, I hope we get along well," said Irina, smiling at him. "Well, I'm Rias Gremory, nice to meet you," the blue-eyed girl introduced herself. "Nice to meet you," said the orange-haired girl happily. "Okay, the presentations are done, I want to sit down," said the brunette, to which everyone followed him. "Iskun, weren't we going to go to heaven?" Irina asked doubtfully. "Yes, but I haven't spoken to Gabriel yet," the brunette said, smiling nervously. "Wow, you tell me that you will accompany me to heaven, and you still haven't asked if we can go," said Irina, somewhat irritated. "Okay, now I'll call her," Issei said nervously. "Damn clone, I swear I'll get revenge." The ha-ha-ha Drag and Rias laughed in their mental connection, the brunette only ignored them. "Is-chan, why are you going to heaven? And what does that archangel have to do with this?" Serafal asked in a mix of emotions. "We are going to ask Michael to reincarnate Irina and Gabriel, well, he is my guardian angel," Issei explained with a smile, surprising Serafal and Kiara with the last bit. "You mean that?" the Mayu was trying to say, still in shock. "That's right," said the honey-eyed man, looking at the two women. "HMP Angel took advantage," Serafal said a little irritated. The brunette just passed by her and formed a communication circle to talk to Gabriel. "Serafal, please leave your one-sided rivalry with Gabriel out of this conversation," the brunette asked the Mayu, who only turned her head away in annoyance, and within seconds a hologram of Gabriel appeared from the magic circle. "Hello Issei-kun, I'm glad you contacted me, what do you need?" the archangel asked with a smile. "Hello Gabriel-chan," said the brunette, returning the greeting. "Hello Gabriel-sama, how have you been?" Irina greeted the blonde, smiling. "Hello Irina, very good." In fact, Gabriel responded hello Rias, the blonde ended up greeting, to which the Redeed returned it. "Well Gabriel, I need to know if Michael can receive Irina right now," Issei asked a little seriously. "I guess there won't be any problems." "Why do you want to see Irina-chan?" asked a curious archangel. "I would like to be reincarnated as an angel," the orange-haired girl explained happily. "Oh I see, great Irina-chan, I don't think she will have any problems receiving you. Also, I want to talk to you about some things," Iskun said the blonde, smiling at him. "Okay, now we'll go," answered the honey-eyed. "I'll go and tell my brother, I'll wait for you there," said Gabriel, and then the communication would be cut off. "Well, we'll go," said the brunette, opening a dimensional crack and then saying goodbye with a kiss from Rias and a jealous Serafal, who calmed down a little when she felt the brunette, and then Irina and Issei disappeared through the crack and closed it. S2 Chapter 12. Feelings, the angel Irina. Heaven with Gabriel. We see Angel heading towards her brother Michael's quarters, happy, since Issei would be there in a few minutes. Great, Iskun will come, it couldn't have been a better time, Gabriel thought with a smile, arriving at where his brother resided doing his homework regarding heaven, knocking on the door. And the voice was heard from inside the place, to which the blonde opens the door and passes inside Michael's office. Onisama, said the blonde, going into the room and closing the door. Gabriel, what do you need? Asked the Archangel, watching her enter. I just wanted to tell you that I received a message from Iskun, said the Archangel, approaching his side. I see, and what did he say? The blonde asked curiously. He said he wanted to come see you in a few minutes, and I told him there was no problem, Gabriel responded, smiling at him. Did he tell you why he wants to see me? His brother asked the Archangel again. He said he would come with Irina Shidu, since she wants you to reincarnate her as an angel, the blonde answered. Wow, well, I'll wait for it, that would be very good for us, said the leader of the sky with a smile. Yes, he said that he would come in a few moments, the blonde told him, to which the blonde nodded, and after a few minutes a dimensional crack opens from which Issei and Irina emerge. Hello, Michael, Gabriel-chan, how have you been? Issei greeted nonchalantly, receiving a greeting from Michael. He blushed at the blonde for how he referred to her, and a blow from Irina. Darling, which is that way of greeting a faction leader, Irina said seriously while the brunette rubbed his head, making the two archangels smile. It's not that big of a deal, the brunette responded, already recovered, to which the orange-haired girl sighs. My name is Irina Shidu, it's a pleasure to meet you, Michael-sama, the violet-eyed woman introduced herself, bowing, and also a pleasure to see you again, Gabriel-sama, she said again, now looking at the blonde. Nice to meet you, Irina, the archangel responded, smiling at her. It's nice to see you again, Irina-chan. I see that you were having fun in the small period that I wasn't with Issei, Gabriel said with a sweet smile, making the orange-haired girl blush. What do you mean, Gabriel? His brother asked, intrigued. Look, Oni-sama, try to feel Irina's aura, said the blonde with her typical expression of happiness, to which Michael pays attention and begins to concentrate. Oh, I see, said Michael, getting serious now. You are part of her dragon, Irina said the blonde, looking at her, making her blush even more, and making her nervous. Oh well, Irina tried to say nervously. Don't worry, Irina, it's okay, it's obvious that if you did it, it's because you love Issei-kun, just like him, in addition to protecting you, Michael said, receiving a nod from the brunette and calming the orange-haired girl. Thank you for understanding, Michael-sama, Irina said, bowing. Come on, you don't need so much formality, said the blonde with a smile. According to what Gabriel told me, you want to be reincarnated as an angel, right? Asked the archangel. That's right, I would be happy helping the sky, said the violet-eyed girl with determination, which made those present smile. Well, now I will reincarnate you in a few moments, said the leader of the sky. Irina just nodded. Iskun, Gabriel said, surprising Issei, since a great speedy was at his side, grabbing his arm. We will go to another place to talk. Well, Michael reincarnates Irina, he said with a happy smile, and so Gabriel leaves the place, dragging to Issei. I could get used to THIS, thought the chestnut tree and the archangel. Make her yours, partner, said Drag, amused. Drag, don't make me think about that here, the brunette reproached the dragon, a little blushing at the situation. It seems that instead of losing my perversion due to the trip, you have adopted it, said the brunette, which surprised Drag a little. Wow, you discovered me, said the dragon a little seriously. What do you mean, Drag? Issei said, a little shocked. What you hear, mate, you didn't actually lose your perversion due to the trip, but I took it, since it is the most important thing for you, that will give you much more power, the dragon explained to his companion. Then why haven't I felt that increase in all this time? Asked the chestnut. That's because I have it retained, sealed, in other words, explained the dragon. And why did you seal it? Issei asked. I don't see the need for so much power at this moment, answered Drag. How powerful would it be? Asked the honey-eyed. You would be the third most powerful being in existence, responded the Welsh dragon, leaving Issei in shock. What? But then why am I not training him, along with the power of Great Red? Issei asked his partner, starting to get upset, which Gabriel noticed. Is something wrong? The blonde asked, looking at him. Oh, it's nothing, Gabriel-chan, don't worry, the brunette responded, calming down a little. It's okay, we'll arrive soon, the archangel told him, to which the honey-eyed boy nodded. Calm down now, I didn't do it because I will do it at a time when you need it. The only thing that power will do is amplify your power in all your balance breaker states. But if you manage to control the power of Red and obtain a new evolution of the balance breaker, then you can be called the third dragon god, Drake said proudly. Third dragon god, it doesn't sound so bad, the brunette thought. Do me a favor and communicate all this to Rias, Issei asked the dragon. I'm on it, mate, the Welsh dragon responded. Well, Iskun, we're here, the archangel said to the chestnut tree, who came out of his thoughts, taking a look at the place, seeing a green space, hectares of grass and trees located in the sixth heaven, and right in front of them a single bench, under a large tree, in which Gabriel sat and invited Issei to do the same, which he accepted. You will ask yourself, why did I bring you here? Said the blonde, looking at her with a smile. In fact, I have an idea, the brunette replied, smiling at him. I brought you here to explain to you why you are the only one capable of making me fall, the beautiful archangel explained seriously. Oh, maybe the most beautiful archangel in heaven fell in love with me while she was watching me, said the brunette mockingly, being surprised and serious when he saw Gabriel's reaction, since she was blushing and her wings came out and began to blink. Well, I was thinking that she knows that. Oh shit, I was serious, said the honey-eyed man, hugging her. Calm down, if you keep thinking about that you will fall, Issei said, stroking her hair, spending a few minutes in which the blonde reciprocated the hug. Calming you down. Thank you for calming me down, said the blonde, separating from the hug. No problem, now you can explain to me how that happened, Issei asked, to which the archangel nodded. You see, as I was taking care of you and watching over you, I began to feel more and more strange, having feelings that at that moment I didn't know what they were, since I had never felt like that, and every time passed they became more intense, and I was beginning to understand what it was about, but everything got worse when I found out about your relationship with Rias Gremory. I was so sad that I cried inconsolably and boiled with jealousy. As the minutes passed I was getting closer and closer to falling. If it hadn't been for the alarms that are here that prevent that type of thoughts, and that my brother Michael found me, calmed me down, consoled me, now I would be in Grigori. Then I explained to him what was happening to me, explaining to me that being a dragon you were going to have more girlfriends. Then I clung to that, waiting for us to meet to tell you what I feel, and relying with the help of my brother, as you had more and more women by your side, Gabriel explained, looking at Issei, who was shocked for a few long moments. Seconds, Iskun, said the blonde, lowering her head, seeing how her lover did not react, so that then the honey-eyed man raised his head and gave her a tender kiss, surprising her. In return she was happy about what was happening. They deepened the kiss so much that they did not care about the alarm, which caught the attention of Michael and Irina, who had already finished the reincarnation ritual. The blonde, knowing what could have happened, left at full speed in search of his sister, missing the violet-eyed girl, who he left behind him following him. A few minutes passed, and they arrived at the place where Gabriel and Issei were. When Michael saw what was happening he smiled, being happy for his sister. As for Irina, he was in shock. He didn't believe what he saw. I see that she was able to confess, and Issei-kun reciprocated, Michael said, smiling. What is Michael-sama referring to? Asked the orange-haired girl, intrigued, coming out of the shock of what she was witnessing, since the most beautiful archangel in heaven was kissing her brunette, and so Michael told her everything that Gabriel had been through in recent times, leaving the recently reincarnated angel even more surprised. Wow, I didn't think she had gone through all that. It makes me happy that being with Iskun can be fulfilled, Irina said with a smile. Me too, now let's separate them before my sister falls, Michael said to the violet-eyed girl, who nodded and then began to approach the couple. When he was next to her, the archangel cleared his throat, drawing the attention of the couple. 2. Onisama, said Gabriel, blushing and embarrassed, separating from the kiss. I know you're enjoying it, but if you keep going you'll fall, said the blonde seriously, making his sister sad and making the brunette smile. I'm sorry, I couldn't contain myself, the blonde said sadly. Don't be so harsh, Michael, it was my fault, said Issei, defending the archangel, who smiled sweetly at him. Please Issei, I'm not blaming you, I'm happy for you, the leader of heaven said, smiling at him. Darling, I'm ready, said the orange-haired girl, approaching and giving her a kiss so as not to be left behind, while she took out her wings. It's okay, my little angel, Issei said, amused, separating from the kiss. They have to go now, said Gabriel with a sad tone. If we have to go to school, he said in brown, to give her another tender kiss, then I'll come visit you, the honey-eyed man said, smiling at him. New Irina shouted exaggeratingly. What's happening, Irina? Issei asked, looking at her with doubt. I won't go to school, the orange-haired girl responded with the same tone, taking a drop out of the 3 present. You know you should, Issei said, trying to reason, knowing that when she gets like this it's almost impossible. No, never, said Irina, to take flight and leave the place. Irina, come back here right now, the brunette shouted, starting to get upset. I will never ever go to school, the violet-eyed girl responded, increasing her speed. I'll go look for her, said the brunette, sighing at the nervous smile of both brothers, and then took flight and began to chase her throughout the sky, spending a few minutes in which all the inhabitants of the faction who were on the different floors saw Angel being chased by a dragon. I got you, said Issei, grabbing Irina, and then taking flight to the 6th heaven again, to where Michael and Gabriel were, since they were in Eden. Don't put me down, Issei, please don't, Irina shouted exaggeratingly while she kicked. Enough, said Issei as he flew, spending a few minutes until he met the 2 archangels again, who once again broke out in a drop of sweat when he saw Irina kicking and grumbling on the chestnut tree's back. Well, I'm leaving, he said, the brunette saying goodbye to the 2. See you later, they both said, and then Issei opened a crack and left the sky towards the Haidu mansion. It seems that Irina-chan is still a girl, Gabriel said, smiling, to which Michael just remained silent, watching the crack close. S2 Chapter 13. Seraphul's decision. Haidu mansion. We see the entire Haidu family having breakfast for Seraphul and Rias, helped by Kiara. When everyone got up they were surprised to see Seraphul there, but they did not give it much importance, since like the rest of the girls she has the right to being there as she was one of Issei's girlfriends. After that everyone's attention fell on Kiara. Then the black-haired Mayu explained everything about who she is and her history, in addition to what Issei decided for her, leaving everyone surprised, but they understood the situation. As for the chestnut's parents, they were happy for a new member of the family, and this brings us to the current situation at breakfast. Tell me Kiara-san, will you also go to the academy like everyone else? Lefei asked while she drank her juice. That's right, Irina and I start today, said Zenobia eating. Because it is better not to let him adjust well to the human world, or they do not remember that it was difficult for me at the beginning. Ravel contributed, remembering his first days in the human world. That's right, but it's a very nice experience, said Rainer, smiling. Our Ray-chan got sentimental, Akeno said amused. I didn't wear anything, Rainer shouted, blushing. Yeah, I think that's a decision that Kiara will make, not between us. Rias intervenes. What are you saying, Kiara? Asked Iridid. I would love to attend the academy with you, Kiara said with a smile. Then it's decided, said the owner of the house with a smile. That's what it looks like, Oka-sama, said Rias, smiling. This sand is already taking too long, don't you think, Asia said, worried about the chestnut tree, to which everyone nodded. Don't worry, he must have a good reason for being late, said Rias, smiling at him. HMP, surely that damn 5th grade angel is taking advantage of him, Serafal said with annoyance. Serafal-sama, please control yourself, Kiara said to the Mayu, who did not even look at her. I also think that the situation would be the other way around, said Rainer, assuming what would happen in the future with those two. What do you mean, Rainer-chan? Asked the doubtful Mayu. Dear Serafal-sama, when we met Gabriel-sama, he told us that Issei is the only one who can make her fall. Zenobia explained, while Serafal, listening to her, began to show clear jealousy. That's why I think it will be Issei who takes the initiative. The brunette finished. I don't accept it, the black-haired woman shouted, clearly jealous. Serafal-sama, you better put jealousy aside and start accepting what comes with Issei-sama and enjoy the relationship you have with him just like us. Jealousy gets you nowhere, Ravel said respectfully. Ah, says the one who until yesterday was trying to prevent Issei-senpai from being with Irina together with Rainer-senpai, Kaneko said mockingly, making the two mentioned blush. Shut up, Kaneko Phoenix said embarrassed also. What happened yesterday made us understand that we don't have to let ourselves be dominated by jealousy and that we have to enjoy is between all of us and those who come, right Ray? The blonde explained. Rainer nodded to her words and the others smiled, knowing that both she and Rainer finally understood how they had to behave, while she only pouted remembering what happened last night. Until they finally understood it, said Lefei sighing. So Is-chan marked Irina-chan, said Serafal in a whisper. Serafal-sama, will you settle here now? Asked the chestnut's father. That's Odo-sama, she answered the Mayu with a smile. But what will you do with your work as a Mayu? Rias asked, intrigued and a little worried. Well, I will do my Mayu duties from the facilities of your club, Rias-chan said the black-haired woman smiling. At what was said everyone was in shock. Whoa, everyone said surprised. It's a good way to be close to Is-chan said the black-haired girl with her typical happy tone. But Serafal-sama, what will happen to the council? I don't think they will allow such an act said Ravel, worried about what the demonic council might do when they find out. Don't worry Ravel-chan, you remember Is-chan's warning to the council when they faced Razor, Serafal said confidently. I see, you will rely on that said the Phoenix, understanding what the Mayu was going for. If Yufu, you will use Is-kun's threat to the council in your favor, Akeno said, amused by what the black-haired woman was planning. That's Akeno-chan, if you don't want to be eliminated by Is-chan, you will have to comply with what I want, said Serafal with her serious face, something that is not common in her, surprising everyone a little with the change in her attitude. Do you agree with this, Rias-chan? Serafal asked, returning to her happy attitude. Well, there is no problem for me, but what will happen to Sona? Their relationship is a little special and she still doesn't know anything about this. Rias asked. Don't worry, that won't happen until after the fight with Kakabiel or so I have in mind said Serafal, calming the Redeed a little for the moment. I would like to do my job from here, if you don't mind, Oka-sama, Odo-sama, said the black-haired woman, seeing the two mentioned. It's fine with me, this is your house now, said the older brown man with a smile. It seems perfect to me, and now I will have company, since I always spend my time alone at home, the woman said with a smile. Then it's already decided said the Mayu with pigtails happily. A few minutes passed in which they continued with her breakfast until a crack opens in the room, drawing everyone's attention. Put me down now, Is-kun, please don't do this to me, said a voice between sobs. When it became visible, Issei was seen carrying an angel, intriguing those present. Now behave Irina, you won't change anything by throwing tantrums, said the brunette, going down to the violet-eyed girl and now sit down and have breakfast, do you understand? Issei said with an authoritative voice. I understand, Irina said, lowering her head. Wow, Irina, it seems like you've become quite an angel said Zenobia, looking at her wings. That's right, Irina said with a smile, realizing that she was exposing her wings by hiding them and sitting on the table. And you became a demon? The orange-haired girl asked. Of course, said the brunette, standing up and showing her wings and sitting down again. By the way, Is-kun, why did you bring Irina-chan like that? Akeno asked, intrigued. You seemed upset Is-sama, what happened? Lefei asked, looking at the chestnut tree. It happens that I was chasing this girl all over the sky because she didn't want to go to the academy, said the angry brunette, taking a shine to everyone because of the orange-haired girl's attitude. It seems that Irina is still childish, said Ravel amused. You deserve it for what you made me witness, said Irina, pouting, making the brunette nervous. And tell me Irina-chan, what did Is-chan make you witness? Serafal said with a sweet smile, making Issei feel a chill. Well, after Michael reincarnated me, we started hearing an alarm. When Michael-sama heard it, he got worried and rushed out to look for Gabriel-sama and Darling. When we arrived we found them kissing and Gabriel-sama about to fall, so we had to intervene, Irina explained, leaving everyone surprised and the brunette's parents crying with emotion. Whoa, Serafal said, jealous and surprised. I already thought so, Rainer said, and the others nodded. Come on, I don't understand what's wrong with that, said the brunette with a nervous smile. Nothing bad, but just a few days ago you became a boyfriend with Serafal-sama, yesterday with me, and today with Gabriel-sama, Irina said a little jealous. Is-an womanizer, he said with a pout. I'm not a womanizer, only circumstances lead me to take those actions, Issei said a little nervously. And you can tell me what the circumstances were, Serafal said smiling at him, and so the brunette began to tell everything that Gabriel told him. I see, said Rias, and everyone nodded in surprise. HMP, Angel took advantage, said the Mau with annoyance. Sarah-chan, you'll have to get used to it, Issei said smiling at her, which calmed her down a little. Kiara, how are you doing here? Issei asked, observing her. Very good, Issei, I feel very comfortable, the red-eyed girl said smiling at him. The brunette only returned it and then approached Kaneko, who seemed distant. Kaneko-chan, what's going on? The honey-eyed man asked, whispering in his ear while he caressed his head. It's nothing, Is-senpai, said the Nekomata, trying to avoid it, which she couldn't do, since the caresses she gave him felt good. Nico, tell me, she whispered warmly in the albino's ear again. My pillow abandoned me to look for a girlfriend, Kaneko said with annoyance, making the brunette giggle, intriguing her. What's going on, Issei-senpai? Kaneko asked. My skirt will always belong to you, Kaneko-chan, don't worry, she said with a warm smile, making her blush. Okay, she said, nodding and still blushing. Well, Rias, I need to talk to you, come with me, said the brunette, looking at her. It's okay, Is, said the retard, standing up and following him to the second floor. What will they have to talk about? Rainer asked curiously. I don't know, but lately they have to talk a lot, said Ravel. At some point they will tell us, Lefei contributed. That's true, let's leave it like that for the moment, Akeno said smiling, and everyone nodded. Issei's room. Issei and Rias entered the room, put a magic circle of silence and lay down on the bed. Tell me, Issei, the retard said as she leaned against his chest. I suppose Drake told you the situation, Issei said seriously. Are you referring to your sealed power? Rias asked curiously. That's right, said the chestnut. And what do you plan to do? Do you plan to unlock it in your fight against Volley? Asked the blue eye. Not at all, the power I have is enough to face him, even if he doesn't have to trust me to be the two celestial dragons. I currently surpass him abysmally, the honey-eyed man explained, to which Rias nodded. You're right about that, but it's still dangerous to trust yourself. When you fight with everything, the retard advised, to which Issei nodded. Mate, you plan to unlock your power during the meeting, don't you? Drake asked, getting into the conversation. That's right, mate, Issei replied. Why's that? Rias asked doubtfully. You will know that at that moment, trust me, Issei said with a smile. It's okay, I'll trust, I always did. No, the retard said, smiling at him. Yes, and thank you for that, the brunette thanked. What happened while he was gone? The honey-eyed ended up asking. Well, Serafal said that he will move his Mau duties to the club to be closer to you, Rias said simply. Issei said a little surprised. I didn't expect that, although it makes sense, said Drake from the chestnut's left arm. What do you mean, Drake? Asked the blue eye. You see, when Issei marks a woman, he cannot spend much time away from her, since the mark unites them, and they cannot spend much time apart, but I thought you were already aware of that, mate, why are you surprised? Asked the confused dragon. I see, Rias said, snuggling closer to Issei. I wasn't surprised because of that, but because he's going to spend time with Sona when she finds out, the brunette said doubtfully. So don't worry, for now she will stay here. She said that she doesn't want Sona to find out about a relationship yet, and that she will settle in the club after the fight with Kakabiel, the retard explained. I understand, that leaves me calmer. I don't feel like dealing with her at the moment, Issei said relieved. And why is that? I don't think Sona will object, Rias asked. I know, but that doesn't take away how bitter she is, Issei said with slight impudence. Ahahaha, don't be bad, said the redhead. Funny Sona is like that for a reason, she said, now getting serious. Well, you'll tell me that later, although I have an idea, said the brunette. By the way, what are you going to do with Gabriel? Rias asked. I don't know, I guess she will come to life here in a while, said the brunette nonchalantly. By the way, do you think I'm a womanizer? The honey-eyed man asked, a little downcast. Wow, I didn't think you'd worry about that, said Rias, amused. Not at all, Issei. When we came back we could never have imagined that a Mayu and an archangel would fall in love with you, and all you did was reciprocate her feelings, said Rias softly. Taking away your worries. And I still need to take charge of my fight against Tiamat, in addition to asking her to train Kiara, said Issei while he looked at the ceiling. And when will you do it? The blue eye asked, intrigued. After the Kakabiel thing happens, the boy responded, but that's not all, the brunette said, resting his chin on the demon's head. There's more. Rias asked. That's right, a few days ago I received a message from Azazel. It seems that Penemue was interested in me and has been investigating me, Issei explained. I see, but wasn't she in love with him? The redhead asked without understanding. That's right, but you know how he is, at some point Penemue was going to get tired of waiting for such a bum, plus he doesn't do anything and gives his job to her. It's obvious that she was going to get tired and upset about that, he explained, Issei sighing, remembering his sensei's attitude. Haha, you're right, as long as Azazel is, he's not going to change, said the redhead. And what are you going to do to reciprocate his feelings, if he has them? For the moment I will see how things develop. I know that she will look for Kakabiel, so that I can fight at ease, the Ajimiel explained, to which Rias nodded. It seems fine to me, said the blue-eyed girl. And tell me, has she already awakened her sacred gear? Not yet, since I rescued her from that renegade demon. I have been training her in her resistance and swordsmanship, but I think she is close to it, the brunette explained. I still can't believe you're infatuated with having that sword, Rias said, amused. Come on, that sword is great, plus I needed one before Ascalon was returned to me, and also with the training I received from Zenobia before what happened, plus what I was training on my own, I became an expert in its use, the honey-eyed man explained, proud. What I don't understand is why it came out black if you created it with your power, Rias said, confused. Technically he doesn't create it, but I copied it and it came out in that color, since Dreg helped me create it with the power of the diabolic dragon. In short, I created it with the power of office, and I did it that way because his is black, Issei explained, puffing out his chest. That sword is a work of art, mate, besides it is very powerful, and together with Ascalon, you will be unstoppable, Dreg said with pride in his voice. I think so, mate, said the brunette. Ah, you and his delusions, Rias sighed. By the way, Dreg, how much time do you think it will take for him to awaken his sacred gear? If we continue training her daily as before, I think he will wake him up in a couple of weeks, explained the dragon. I see, and do you plan to make her your knight? Asked the redhead. That's right, he will be my second knight, the honey-eyed man said with a smile. And have you told him about it? The blue eye asked with intrigue. Not the only thing he knows is what we told him. I didn't tell him anything about my team, and it would be better that at least until after the Kakabiel thing happens, he stays like that, said the brunette, a little worried. That seems fine to me. By the way, when will you mark poor Asia? With the sacred swords under our protection, we don't know when Kakabiel will attack, Rias asked. I plan to take her on a date today, to reward her for having left her aside a little, and then at night I will do it, the brunette explained. I think it's good, it would be better if you do it as soon as possible, said Rias. Well, we were a little late, and you haven't had breakfast, or did you have it at the Leviathan mansion? The blue eye said asked. We did it in the mansion. I don't know why Sir Awful will do it again, said the brunette. I guess he did it to test it, since we both did it, said Rias with a smile. Oh really? Issei said with a shine in his eyes. That's my Is, said Rias, smiling at him. That explains why she's not wearing the magical girl outfit. Well, let's wait, Rias, I have to try that masterpiece, said the honey-eyed man with enthusiasm. Haha, then let's go and have breakfast, said the redhead to turn around and give the brunette a tender kiss, and then stand up and leave the room towards the living dining room. This the redhead called to the honey-eyed man, who was about to go down the stairs. What's happening, Rias? Asked the brunette, who stopped short and turned to see her. The redhead did not respond and rushed towards him, kissing him, while she wrapped her arms around his neck and her legs around his waist. Ara, you're playful, do you want me to get off? This way, said Issei, separating from the kiss. It's the least I deserve for taking Asia on a date, said the blue-eyed girl, who slowly shortened the distance from her with the brunette's lips. Ah, what you want is to start a war below, Issei said, amused. If Euphorias laughed and then kissed Issei again, who reciprocated and took the path down. Down with the rest. Everyone had finished breakfast and was waiting in the living room for Issei and Rias to come down. They were curious, so those two had to talk, but they decided not to give it so much importance. After a few seconds, footsteps were heard from the stairs and the girls they turned to be angry and jealous, since Rias was being picked up by Issei, while they kissed. What does this mean? Rainer said, clearly jealous. So that's what they talked about, huh? It was Ravel's turn to speak with a serious look. Rias-sama, that is taking advantage, said the magician to the Redeed, who still did not separate from the brunette, who was on the last steps before reaching the room. Ara, this time I will be with them, Akeno said, emanating a little lightning from her fingers. That's not fair, said Asia, pouting. Darling, he has to be punished, Rina said jealously. Haha, Rias-chan beat us to it, said Seraphil amused, while Kiara watched that scene with intrigue, especially for the rest of the girls. Ara, they said something, said Rias amused as she turned her head to see all the girls. What does this mean, Rias Gremory? They all said in unison, clearly jealous, beginning to emanate their respective auras and magic, of course, except Kiara and Zenobia for now, while Kaneko was able to maintain her composure as best she could, since she also felt very jealous. Ara, it's the least I deserve, said the Redeed with a funny smile. Deserve that, Rias, they all ask again. Asia, would you like to have a date with me this afternoon? Said the brunette with a smile, surprising everyone. Huh? They all said, confused. Well, now her jealousy was guided towards the blonde, who saw her with a murderous look, while she herself was surprised and happy. Well, what do you say like that? The brunette asked while she put Rias down, who was amused by the situation, and went to the kitchen to get breakfast for the brunette. I would love Issei, it would make me very happy, said the former nun with a radiant smile. Well, it makes me happy too, said Issei, smiling at her. As for you, said the brunette, drawing everyone's attention, who paid attention to him and faded their respective magics and auras. Don't be jealous, you'll get ugly, said the honey-eyed one, blushing at them and then approaching them all and giving each one a kiss until he reached Zenobia, standing in front of her and beginning to approach. What do you think you're doing? The brunette said, blushing, turning her head, but she felt a hand on her head and saw the brunette again. Haha, don't worry, it was a little joke, Issei said, smiling at her, while she continued caressing her head, making her blush more. Come here, darling, Irina said, a little jealous, grabbing her arm to pull him to her and give him a kiss, since she was the one next to the brunette. Now, Irina, said the brunette, separating from the kiss and starting to caress her cheek, you should not get carried away by those emotions, otherwise you will fall, Issei said to give her another kiss, leaving the others jealous, since they only received one kiss from the brunette. After separating from Irina, he continued with Asia, who received the happy kiss. Then Kaneko continued stroking her hair and giving her a kiss on the forehead, making her blush, and then he stopped for Kiara, who blushed thinking about what he was going to do. Brown, but it made it even more so when she felt him caress her hair and give her a smile, embarrassing her for those thoughts she had. And at the end of the line was Seraphil, who did not hold back when she had him in front of her and gave him a passionate kiss that lasted for a few seconds. Well, you've calmed them down, said the Redeed, appearing from the kitchen and going towards where the dining table was, which was a few meters to the left of the armchairs that made up the room. Come and have breakfast, we have to go to the kitchen. Academy, we don't have time for this, Rias finished, leaving the plate on the table. Yes, Rias-sama, Issei said, amused, embarrassing her. Chan, but you already had breakfast at the mansion, Seraphil whispered in Issei's ear. Yes, but when Rias told me that you two did it, I can't resist trying it, the brunette whispered to him in the same way. I hope you like it, the Mayu said, smiling at him. The honey-eyed only nodded. By the way, where is my mother? Asked the chestnut. Issama went shopping, Ravel responded. I see, said the chestnut. Then Issei walked towards the table to eat what Rias and Seraphil prepared. A few minutes passed in which they waited for Issei to have breakfast, while he praised those who did it, making them smile proudly, so that after finishing they left from the house on the way to the academy, saying goodbye to Seraphil. Of course, on the way they obviously bought the uniforms of Irina, Zenobia and Kiara, who were with a smile on their faces at being able to attend the academy, even Irina, because although she had done all that tantrum, I was happy to be able to attend and thought it would be fun. You feel that presence, right? Rias asked telepathically. That's right, my Rias, it seems like he's following us, Issei responded while he smiled. And what will you do to confront him now? Asked the curious Redeed. Not at all, I'll do it later, answered the brunette. Okay, but if you confront the situation now we will have a good ally for the fight, because you leave it for later, the Gremory heiress said, and expressed her doubt again. I just want to let things take their course a little more, and you also know why he is following us, and when the time comes I will do it, said the honey-eyed man, explaining to the Redeed. Yes, I already know, he wants to protect what he wants, and if it is your decision I will support you, you know. Rias responded to the brunette. Do you think it will be okay when the reunion happens? Issei asked worriedly. I trusted that. Yes, she is already fine mentally, in addition to the fact that she was able to accept her nature completely, although I am also sure that at first it will be difficult, explained the blue-eyed girl. I know that, but as long as he is well, we will try to help with those difficulties, the brunette said, smiling. Upon seeing it, the Redeed returned it to him and they continued on their way to the academy without paying attention to their follower. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.